Hello, Steve Mills here. Welcome to another podcast, another edition of the Results Mastery podcast, to be precise. It's great to be here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Mills, and I've spent the last nearly 30 years now helping small businesses to become more successful. I do this from a sales and marketing point of view, based on a belief that there are only two ways to make more profit in a business. One is to reduce costs, which we can all do to some extent, and two is to increase sales, which is often a little bit more tricky, but also literally to whatever level you would like. So that's what I want to talk about in my podcast. It'd be great to get you signed up for it, get all my tips, all my ideas that I've learned from some of the leading experts in the world. One guy I hold in great esteem is a gentleman called Tony Robbins. I'm sure most of you have heard of Tony. He apparently this year he's turning over about 9 billion, which is a little bit more than me, shall we say. And you've got to respect someone like that. He's probably the world's most successful business consultant, coach, advisor, trainer. He runs about 120 businesses and is hugely successful. So I want to give him credit for what I'm going to tell you now, because I think that's important to do, not to, nick somebody else's idea and claim it's yours, but just say that, you've learnt this from this guy who probably has got a rough idea what he's doing. He's turning over, I can't remember if it was 9 or 7. Anyway, it's a lot of money. He's quite successful. And he spoke about something he called the 3 pillars of success. Okay, the 3 pillars of success. Now, I'm sure you've heard loads of different versions of this. There are lots of different things that could be. But in this instance, let me tell you what Tony said and give you my interpretation of it. Firstly, he said, number one, the most important thing, number one, is to know who is your client. It's not just about knowing who your client is, because I can say, well, I work with small businesses, and you turn back to me and say, okay, I'm a butcher. I've got a sweet shop. Do you work with people like that, Steve? And I go, well, no, 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 not normally. No, I've never worked with a sweet shop in 30 years. Okay, so who do you work with then, Steve? And the important thing is to look at who you're trying to target and work out, who do you want to work with? Who is the ideal client, not just a who could be a client. At the end of the day, if somebody from a sweet shop came to me and said, "Can you help?" I'd probably do my best to help, because that's my nature. Having said that, they wouldn't be my ideal client. My ideal client is more around somebody who's in what I call the helping industry, a little bit like myself, because it's the industry that I know. They're perhaps a consultant, an advisor, a coach. They might be a professional service firm. They're a specialist in what I call the helping industry. Now, I could narrow down on that, couldn't I? I could say, well, I'm going to work with coaches. That'd be part of that group. And I could even go down with from that. I could say, right, I'm going to help with health coaches, or I'm going to do sports coaches. They're who I'm going to be. And then I could even go down from that. I could go, well, I'm just going to work with coaches who are table tennis coaches, or tennis coaches, or squash coaches. You with me? So dependent on what level of niching, whether you want a niche or what I'd call a super niche, a niche within a niche, really depends on you and your business. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you should be doing. I don't know you. I don't know your business. And the old saying that diagnosis without consultation is malpractice. In the medical industry, if I don't understand what your illness is, what your problem is, and I start diagnosing it, it's malpractice. So that's what I've always believed. So if you do want a diagnosis, get in touch with me, and I'm sure I can discuss things. We then need to know, what is it they need? I get people all the time on websites like LinkedIn, or offer me things. I get messages for people saying, I can help you with this, I can help you with that, and they're people who have no clue. I got somebody the other day who said, was I interested in leasing a car? He sent me a message through LinkedIn offering to lease me a Volkswagen. Well, no, I don't. I've no interest in leasing a Volkswagen whatsoever. And he's just, for me, it's just spray and pray. Spray enough of those messages out, and he might pick up somebody who does want a Volkswagen. It's like, shooting with a targeted rifle compared with a shotgun, where you just put enough out there and hopefully something sticks. So, that I think is really important. So step one is, who is your ideal client? Step two is, what do they need? What are their problems that they've got? What are the challenges that they're facing right now that are relevant for you, that you could help them fix? So we need to identify that, because until we understand what their problems are, we can't go to step three. Step three is to create an irresistible offer. An irresistible offer. Now, Tony gave a great story. I'm sure you heard of this story and you know it fully well, but I'll tell it you anyway. He said when Domino's started out, one day, the owner of Domino's Pizza, or a senior person within there, had somebody come in with a complaint. He'd ordered a pizza. It was supposed to be delivered. It was 45 minutes later, and it had still not arrived. And he came into the shop, shouting, and this is disgraceful. What sort of, service is this? How could you do this? You promise a nice hot pizza, and I don't get it. I've been waiting all this time. I've got kids waiting at home. Blah 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 blah. And the guy thought about what he was saying and thought, what can we do about this? We don't want people like this, because this guy said, I'm never buying a pizza from you again, and so on. He said, look, let me just apologize. I am so incredibly sorry about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a pizza, and if it doesn't arrive within 30 minutes, I'm going to give you a pizza and I'm going to give you your money back. Okay. And 25 minutes later, that pizza arrived at this person's house. This guy was very, very pleased. He loved his pizza, thought it was great, blah, blah, blah. And the story goes that he said to the owner, what you need to do is tell everybody that. Why don't you tell everybody that if you can do that, if you can deliver pizza within 30 minutes, tell everybody, that'll get you more sales. And that's what they did. They came up with a unique, irresistible offer: fresh, hot pizza in 30 minutes or less, or you get your money back. That was an advert that really got Domino's Pizza to where it is today. So, that's a great example. My question to you, therefore, is, what's your version of that? I've just come up with a product. Let me just tell you about it, if I may. It's called Results Pro. And what you get is this: you get access to over 300 videos. Okay, 300 videos, each of which are only small. They're like 10, 15 minutes. So you don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to watch them all at once. You get access to that. You get access to a weekly Q&A with me live on Zoom for about an hour, based on, all my experience. I'm going to try and help you answer questions and so on. So you get that. You gain access to a place we call our community, which is where all our clients come and ask me questions, provide advice themselves, ask for feedback. So you might create a link to your website saying, what do other members think of the site? And they'll come back with ideas about it. I put all my latest ideas. This video will be on there for people to listen to, and so on and so forth. What else do they get? They also get discounts on my courses. They gain a professional membership to my podcast. They get that as well. And they also get an opportunity to attend my events at a discount rate. So I do things like, well, let me give you an example. I do webinars. I do webinars for people. They're free. The people don't pay for that. But if I do, for example, a LinkedIn training day, then they get half price. So rather than it being £100 to attend, it's only 50. So basically, I'm giving loads and loads of value. Now, you may be thinking, well, that all sounds good, Steve. It all sounds great, but what's that cost? Well, it costs a tenner, £10 a month for all that advice and all that training and all that help. And I think my belief is it's an irresistible offer. If you don't think that's a good offer, then I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It is a great offer, and it is something that you're very welcome to partake in if you wish. Easiest way of doing that is to go to my website, results-mastery.com, and go and have a look, and you'll find it there. So that's it. They're Tony's 3 tips. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there about my product, but it just shows the passion I have in it. And basically, why am I doing that? Well, it comes as part of my mission, which I set up 30 years ago, and that was to help as many small businesses as I could. Rather than just going and getting like 20 clients and working with them, I want to help thousands of businesses to become more successful. So if you want to be one of them, you might want to kick off with me and just sign up for the Results Pro program, and no commitment on an ongoing basis. Is £10 a month. Thanks very much for listening.